What's up? My name is pronounced Hadrify, and today I will be going over the basic training ordnance and how to effectively use it, specifically in free-for-all. Um, in the background, you will be seeing some gameplay of me using ordnance in free-for-all. The first game, I have my preferred score streak loadout, um, and in the second game, I had the wrong score streaks on, everything was a little bit wonky, but it was still a great gameplay. So, Ordnance. What does it do? It makes your score streaks cheaper. It is I can't talk. It is an incredibly powerful score streak. Provided you're playing the right game modes. I mean, in War, obviously, it's the worst or basic training because there are no score streaks in War. Whereas in free-for-all, score streaks can make or break your game, whether you win or not. It is an incredibly powerful score streak, specifically for free-for-all. So, how do you use it? How are you going to optimize Ordnance the most? Well, the first two score streaks that you're going to want to use at all times are going to be the recon and the counter recon. The recon usually costs 500 without ordnance and 375 with ordnance, dropping down from 5 to 4 kills, provided you don't get any assists. It's 100 score per kill. Counter recon drops down from 525 to 400. So both drop down to 4 kills. You get 4 kills, you get a counter recon and a recon. And that is extremely good. Not only is 4 kills not a very long streak or a hard streak to get, but counter recon and recon are incredibly powerful. I mean, recon allows you to see where your enemies are, and counter recon makes it, it's just, like usually in a game of team deathmatch, a counter recon, while it is powerful, it's not nearly as powerful as shutting down like the entire lobby's ability to be able to see where you are, because everybody is your enemy in free-for-all. And something I was thinking about earlier, so let's say you pair the counter recon and you can just keep cycling counter recon, counter recon, counter recon, then no one will be able to see you on their radars unless you shoot your gun or something. But then you can put on suppressor with airborne, and you can run around freely with airborne. You don't have to use mountain, and they won't be able to see you with their recons because the recons are being destroyed. But they can still hear you. But that's when you put on inconspicuous, which silences your footsteps, not all the way, but mostly. And so that it would probably be the stealthiest class you could make, which sounds kind of fun to use. But back on subject, another reason recon and counter recon are so good is because they aren't player controlled. Just right on the D-pad, and you have both up in the air. You don't have to map out anything. You don't have to go into some menu that leaves you vulnerable. And player-controlled streaks are more dangerous in Rumble than anywhere else. It leaves you defenseless for a few precious seconds, and it just wastes time that you could be using to get kills with your actual guns. So yes, counter recon to recon, absolutely crucial when you're using ordnance and free-for-all. But what do you do with your third score streak slot? Well, you have 6 options. Option number 1, leave it empty. This is a very good strategy. Why? Well, once you start earning a score streak, you can't re-earn it until you die or until you get full streaks. So let's say you get a recon and you have like some crazy expensive score streak as your third option, then you're not going to be able to get that recon back and start earning it once you've already got it You aren't going to be able to start earning it again until you either die or you get ball turret gunner or whatever is your third thing. So keeping it empty, that just is, it's like the ultimate cycle. Just recon, recon, recon. Every 4 kills you get their counter recon and the recon. Very powerful. So option number 2, which is kind of a corollary to option number 1, use the Molotov. Molotov costs 300 normally and costs 225 with Ordnance. So why would you want to run Molotov? What's the thought process behind that? Well, it's the cheapest score streak in the game. So if you're gonna rock if you're gonna rock the strategy previously mentioned, which is trying to cycle as many recons and counter recons as possible, then there's no reason not to run the Molotov. It doesn't mess up your cycle. It's the only thing cheaper than recon and counter recon. Like, you don't even have to use it. You could go the whole game without using it, but I mean, it's so easy to go on. We get 3 kills, or if you get an assist, then you only need to get 2 kills, and then boom, you have an incendiary grenade. You can just keep it in your back pocket for whenever you need it. And if you think about it, that could be that could free up your grenade slot. If you always constantly have that incendiary grenade ready to go, then you can drop the frags or drop the stickies and pick up a tactical, or pick up the dreaded trip mines. So you have trip mines and mollies just constantly, and you're just able to choke off everything. That would be absolutely dirty, but yes. Everybody would probably hate you, but yeah, trip mines are just the way to go sometimes. Do not quote me on that. Option number 3. Paratroopers or carpet bombing. Paratroopers cost $12.50, $1,100 with Ordnance. Carpet bombing costs $1,400, $12.25 with Ordnance. Let's say you don't care about, you know, cycling. You just want to go for big score streaks in Rumble. Well, if that's you, then carpet bombing and paratroopers are going to be your best options. Why? Because, remember, they aren't player controlled. You just call them in, you call up your buddy Craig, you dial him up, and in comes the bombs / paratroopers. I've never used carpet bombing in free-for-all, but I'd imagine that it just absolutely destroys everybody. And paratroopers in Rumble, I mean, gosh, free-for-all, just, they slay, dude. They get so many kills. You have no idea. This one comes down to personal preference, but I think paratroopers is the best score streak in the game, and it's cheaper, so that's the one that I usually go with. Option number 4: artillery barrage, firebombing run, or mortar strike. Artillery barrage costs $850, $700 with Ordnance. Firebombing run costs $1050, $900 with Ordnance. And mortar strike costs $750, $600 with Ordnance. These offer a lot of potential. They're a little bit cheaper than paratroopers and carpet bombing, so they're going to be easier to get. Another good thing about them, they're only pseudo player controlled, which means they can be called in very quickly. You do have to, you know, look at the map and, you know, click in or whatever where you want it to go, but you can do that pretty fast if you know beforehand where you want it. Something else that makes these 3 streaks very good, they all drop 150 score with Ordnance, and that's a whole 2 kills. Mortar strike only takes 6 kills to earn, artillery barrage only takes 7, and firebombing run takes 9. Whichever one you think will get you the most kills is what you should roll with. It should also be noted that with each of these, you can pretty easily take out, you know, those pesky spawn campers, and you can't do that with carpet bombing and paratroopers since you can't, since they aren't player controlled. Personally, mortar strike would be my pick. It's the cheapest of the 3. It can bomb 3 different positions. That's potential of 3 different campers that I could take out. And I mean, yeah, my recons, they only take me 4 kills to get, and my and then I get my mortar strike 2 kills later. Pretty easy. Option number 5, those player controlled streaks I've been talking about. These include fighter pilot, which costs 625 and 500 with ordnance. Glide bomb, which costs 650, 525 with ordnance. Ball turret gunner, which costs 1700, 1450 with ordnance, and to some extent you have the flamethrower, which is kind of player controlled. It's kind of just a gun, a glorified gun that just shoots fire, but I put it in the category player controlled streaks. Cost 700, 550 with ordnance. So, to get started with these, if you can get ball turret gunner and free-for-all on a regular basis, then you probably don't need to be watching this video. You probably already know all you need to know about Call of Duty. The other 3 I would call those back pocket streaks, similar to the Molotov. The flamethrower is a good streak because you don't lose it on death, and you get guaranteed kills at close range, but also guaranteed deaths if your enemy is too far away. It's really good for pushing those close range areas where you know a camper is proning in the corner, or you jump around a corner and someone's chasing you and you just whip out your flamethrower, dead. The fighter pilot is really good for hardcore, just like you can get 3 or 4 kills with it. It's crazy. And even in core mode, it will sometimes get more kills, or I find in my experience, it's like a better score streak than the glide bomb. I get more kills with it, even though the glide bomb is more expensive. However, the glide bomb does have one big advantage. If, a bunch of people are just camping all together, or not camping, they're just hanging out all together, you can, it's a rare occasion, but you can get a bunch of kills with one glide bomb. Also, glide bomb is the most precise score streak in the game, so you're going to be able to really, if there's a camper and he's in a really hard to reach spot, glide bomb is, if the glide bomb can't get the job done, no score streak can, whatever. 2 reasons these score streaks aren't as good as the previous options are that they take precious time to use, and they can be annoying to navigate around on the D-pad. So keep in mind that free-for-all is an extremely fast-paced game mode. If you're in a comfortable lead, then these score streaks are fine, but in a close game or in a losing situation, you need to be slaying as fast as possible. You need to be catching up, and these score streaks, they just take a little bit too much time to use. Also, they take you out of the game. You can't see what's going on around you. And, in normal game modes, you can take your sweet time. You don't have to worry about somebody spawning 2 feet from you, but in Rumble, that happens every game. So, as for trouble navigating on the D-pad, this one might sound weird, a little bit silly, but trust me, if you've ever experienced it, you definitely know what I'm talking about. Basically, if you're like running around, and someone's in hot pursuit of you, or you're in the midst of action, and let's say you get a kill, and you're still in the action, and then you get a recon. But then you also get your fighter pilot. You get full streaks, but all you want to do is put up your recon and counter recon. Well, you have this dead weight fighter pilot, and it wastes time, pressing down on the D-pad to try to get to the recon and pressing right. And it sounds silly, but it really is a first world problem that is very frustrating. The last option number 6, it is the riskiest option, and can you guess it? It is the infamous emergency airdrop. The emergency airdrop costs 1,000 score to get normally, 850 score to get with ordnance. it drops a total of 3 care packages. Don't use care package, by the way, in Rumble. That is the biggest waste of time ever waiting for that thing, and you will just feel like an absolute sitting duck. But on the other hand, emergency airdrop, it can turn the tide of a game. It can bring you back from certain defeat. You have 3 chances. You have 3 care packages. 3 chances to get a top tier streak. I mean, you get 1 ball turret gunner, you get 1 set of paratroopers, and that turns the game around quick. On the other hand, suppose you die, then you give, then you give the guy in first place paratroopers, and he insta wins. So that is no bueno, and the fact that it tells everyone in the lobby that you're using it, it paints a huge target on your back. So high risk, high reward option. With each option, I ranked it. I ranked them in order of effectiveness, in my personal opinion. But that does it for this free-for-all strats guide. I realized that those first 2 games were not enough time. Did not offer enough time to go over everything I wanted to talk about, so you might just, I don't know what you're going to be watching, but maybe a 3rd gameplay, maybe, a bonus clip similar to PewDiePie's bonus memes that he sometimes graces us with. But yeah, hope you learned something, and guess I'll see you guys in the next video. And by you guys, of course, I mean you, Montana.